children watching. Very immature adults are watching too. I have a minute. I'm not sure if I should wear pants or not. I'm really thinking about it here. I'm really considering whether or not I should do that. I can't tell. Part of me wants, should I have one leg in and one leg out? Should I find a different way to express myself? Thank you, Chad. I appreciate that. Morning, Catherine. Great to see you. Pants on, says Denise. There's always one. There's always one. There's always one. That's right. That's right. Good morning, y'all. Let's get started, huh? Let's get started. Let's figure out a way to subvert the dominant paradigm and eviscerate the proletariat and all that stuff, you know? Seriously. Neutral evil my ass, says Rachel. That's right. Welcome, y'all. Welcome to the show. Today is a beautiful day. It is episode 149, the Burning of Baalifornia. And I will tell you that the Burning of Baalifornia is certainly not beautiful, and we're going to talk about that. So wow, what a kick in the nuts, right? But this kick in the nuts has some lessons for it if we bow to our opponent, if we recognize that what we are looking at is the Panther. The metallic Panther is here. We've already got a super chat. Can you believe this? Stephen Granger, 11.11 Prana Boost Felt. Thank you much. High five. Bam. If you guys don't know this, Rose 777 runs an awesome show in the morning before this. I think you guys should check it out. In fact, I would imagine that she will be rivaling James and taking over one day, which is okay because she's so awesome that it's worth it. I'm really loving the electricity you got going on there, Rose. Really glad that's flowing. I would be in there more, but I'm usually prepping as you're live, so it's like I'm backstage watching you on stage going, hey, there's Rose, what's doing? So anyway, welcome, my friends, welcome. Let's get started. I'm just gonna say it. I have done streams on Baalifornia before. I've told you guys this over and over, and I know it probably sounds cold, but to me, what's really cold is what we're doing. The fires are caused by abandonment. They're caused by abandonment. The California fires are caused by abandonment. You, me, all of us, culture itself, the psyche has abandoned the land. The fires are, and also these fires are selling the idea that this is by climate. There's a New York Times opinion piece yesterday saying this was all about climate change. If your dirty frickin' carbon footprints weren't everywhere, these fires wouldn't be happening. And people are believing it. They're buying into that because they have an electrical addiction to victimhood over vigilance. They have an electric addiction to it's not my problem. That's why we have government. And it's really getting gross. It's really getting gross because as the world is showing itself more and more, as the teeth are being shown, we keep sinking more in. Be like, yeah, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. And it's only because the steps are moving slow enough. We talked about this. Boom. Boom. The Leviathan steps are slow that it bypasses your reptilian brain. I know we've said this before, but your reptile fears novelty. And if these feet of the Leviathan are slow enough, boom, boom, boom. If they're slow enough, you won't notice. Your reptile won't notice. Boom. And you won't think anything of it. You'll be like, this is fine. This is fine. This is fine. While you're drinking tea. And everyone is trying to warn you, right? Every single person. Every little critter you can think of that's trying to express his concern for what it is you're about to do, right? You gonna get it? You gonna get it? Are you gonna get it? You didn't get it. Is ignored because your addiction to the electricity is still there. The electricity of victimhood is what you're addicted to. And it feels good. It's a good heroin. You know it. I know it. It's a good heroin. The victimhood electricity puts masks on your face. It assigns policy to air quality. It assigns forestry policy. It assigns every thing important to you. The EPA, the FDA. It takes everything that could be important or vital to you, and it offloads it and delegates it to an outside authority. And it says, hi, outside authority, you are now in charge of my safety. And the outside authority is like, okay. Sure. And we go on feeling better. We go home feeling better about that. And I'm telling you, that's exactly what's happened with California, with the entire West Coast. The entire West Coast is a holocaust, a sacrifice of fire. And it's been happening a long time, a long time. And if you look at Pelosi, Feinstein, Schiff, Newsom, if you just look at the politics of the state, nothing could be more clear that all of this is intentional. That this entire burn that you're seeing right now is 100% intentional. And the thing about germ theory, the thing about Zionism, the thing about this idea of offloading the crusading righteousness to another outside party, the thing about that is that we keep doing it over, we keep doubling down. And the reason why we keep doubling down is because we cannot afford the shame required for that appetite. We can't afford that. It's not worth it. So we say that's not happening. That's not what this is. We are trying hard. In fact, we are trying so hard in California that we've passed more regulations, James, not less. How dare you? And that we've pushed even harder, James, to make sure that we're protecting our environment. How dare you? And you will look around and see the catalytic converter was literally an invention of California. And it is seriously destroyed the efficiency of engines across the world. The catalytic converter did that, and it was the very thing that was claiming to fix it. The diesel engine is the most cleanest form of energy-dense transportation that we practically have right now. But more than lithium, more than batteries, more than everything else, diesel, biofuel. Yet we've created an atmosphere where that is the evil part. That's the dangerous thing. And every time they bottleneck it. They say, well, you can't have gas because you're too dirty. You can't have this because you're too dirty. You can't have this because you're too dirty. We're going to use corn now. And we're going to force farmers to sell their crop for less. All of these tactics, Willamette. Guys, go to Oregon and ask anyone who cares about trees. Hey, man, what do you think about Willamette? And they will tell you the horror stories of a lumber company that the entire time was prodded and led by the Department of Forestry. Your trees, all of your trees. Do you eat trees? I don't eat trees. Do you eat trees? Because all of our trees, every tree in the National Forest belongs to the Department of Agriculture. Every one. All of them do. All of them. And it's always been the mission of the Department of Forestry to treat those things as crops. They are crops. And because we live in this materialistic world where we think that nothing else matters, that all that we have is what's material, we've decided that we should just apply this across the board. And that what you and I are missing is the sound of the Lorax. That you and I've said this before, I am the Lorax of men. And you and I speak for the land, not just the trees. We speak for the land. You and I are white blood cells. We've been sent out on a mission. White blood cells matter. We've been sent out on a mission to crusade our land, and we won't do it because we've said, no, they're in charge of that. They're in charge of that, right? And it's gotten confusing. There. This system that we have is serving us. It's serving us perfectly because of its victimhood. The victimhood itself is what's causing this system to thrive. It's thriving. This is not a new thing. What's been happening in California is not a new thing. Ladies and gentlemen, the last time I was in San Francisco, I walked out of a coffee shop. It was the 2 o'clock on Monday. And a man was squatting, going poopies on the sidewalk. That's actually not the part that's disturbing. The part that's disturbing is that guy looked at me and said, "What the fuck are you looking at?" I was the one that was offending him. In fact, he accosted my friend at the time for a cigarette. He yelled at Audrey. He said, "Damn it, you won't give me a cigarette, you selfish blah, 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 blah." And you cannot tell me that that was a special isolated incident. You can't. You can't do that because that's everywhere. Friends, the next time you go to San Francisco, you can literally download a free poop map app, an app that shows you where the poop maps are all around the city. And you cannot tell me that that's an accident. You cannot tell me that that is a normal, natural function of humanity. In fact, we're trying so hard to help this humanity that it's made them worse. And I'm telling you, these are professionals. Government is professional psychopathy. I'm talking about the elite. I'm talking about the Lance Armstrong of government is Gavin Newsom. The Lance Armstrong of government is anyone in D.C. Anyone who's made it up that top is doping. You have to admit that. You have to. You have to admit that. And what keeps you in victimhood is, oh, government's just broken, but we're going to fix it any moment now. We're going to fix it. And it's not broken. Government is working perfectly. Here's a map of all the current wildfires. Of course, they're not in just California. But fuck. I believe this is the Oregon border. This is not a filter. This is not an Instagram filter. Nor is this. This is right before the storm. Fires, I mean. San Francisco. The Trans-American Tower. And if you're a white belt, you're sitting back going, oh, bless their heart. Oh, bless their heart. Frank, we should give to Red Cross. Okay. That's white belt. That's where you're at. Yellow belt. It's holy shit. Are they going to burn my place next? Red belt is they're remodeling. This is Zionist remodel. We're watching it in real time. We're watching the entire value of California be transmuted, I should say, in real time. It's a plan. You install crime. You install the need for police. You install the police. You install the need for something. This is how you farm humanity. And it only works if the crops are complicit. and compliant. And we are, because of the victimhood. It's because of the victimhood. It's because of that. That's why it does that. And you can't say, well, James, it's a natural disaster. It's just the way it happens. Even if it's not climate change, James, this is a natural disaster. California's always had this problem. And California did not always have this problem. No, they did not. No, they did not. Because if you look at California, you see, okay, this is not California, but bad timing on that. But you see a land of some of the oldest growth that we've ever had. You see a land that actually was taking care of itself a whole lot more before the government came, before Manifest Destiny decided to trigger its germ theory head, to say all of this is ours, and the way we get it is to convert savage into civil. How do you do that? First, you have to change the definition of savage. And that's easy. When you have colonists that are living here, when you have colonists that are trying to establish their way on a land that already has a thriving country, a thriving government here, already here, you have to demonize them and purify yourself. Puritan, purified. Savage. And that those demonizations are both. What is savage, guys? Savage is someone who doesn't wear shoes. Savage is someone that's grounding almost all of their days. Savage is someone who takes a shaman and doesn't say, we should fill him full of petroleum pills. Savage is someone who's connected to a tribe. Savage is someone who wouldn't want anyone else to be civil. Because civil is to pretend. To civilize is to geld. To civilize is to become predictable. And just like I told you about this Leviathan that moves slowly, as we become predictable with each other, we give each other enough reptilian comfort that we can cohabitate. And that we can live in a farce with someone else. You can live in a farce with someone. You pour trust into them. You pour prana into them. And at any point in time, that can be revoked. It could be changed. It could be revealed. And this is part of why it's so expensive to pull back that sacrifice and say, hey, you know what? Poop maps, we'd rather try something different. We don't like how you're running this. We'd like to consider something different. Well, James, how could you even do that? How? I think we could do it with compassion. I think we could do it with compassion. Right now, America has 6,450 nukes. 6,450 nukes times $100 million is a shitload of money. I mean, that's so much money. It is so much money. And that's just the United States. That's only the United States. Only the United States. Russia has 6,850. Those are just nukes. Those are just nukes. And they're not even real. They're not even fucking real. And that's how much your victimhood costs you. It costs you 6,450 times 100 million for you to believe that government's here to protect you. And they made it so fucking expensive, there's no way. There's no way you can fold. There's no way. There's no way that you can fold. Don't you look at me like that. I can fuck with you. This is the dojo, baby. You want a peanut, you got to earn it from Sensei. There's so much resources that we have. And they're not just in nuclear weapons. They're not just in nukes. There's so much resources that we have. And we've known the entire time about the California fire situation. We've known that. Look at the Paradise fires. Guys, poop maps. Guys, in Seattle right now, your government is paying a lesbian who works in an office, who wears a Black Lives Matter shirt, and she gives out 1,000 needles every week to junkies. That's her job. Her job is to go out and find junkies, and she doesn't give the junkie one needle. She gives him 100 in a bag. And she has a quota, a protocol, just like Greenpeace. If you work for Greenpeace, you have a fucking quota. You have to go, I have to check this, and this. And I have to make these people feel like shit. And I have to make these people give me money. It's the exact same thing. You have a quota. She has a quota for how many needles she's giving out. Your government is paying a lesbian in a Black Lives Matter shirt, probably listening to Melissa Etheridge right the fuck now, thinking about dogs that are beaten and blaming it on men, and she's being paid a hefty, fat-ass salary to give out needles to addicts. And she goes home at night and she goes, I've done so much good. And she has an entire life built from this. And it's all built from her compassion. The entire system is built off her compassion. She thinks that she's the bee's knees when it comes to empathy. She spreads memes around. I'm an empath. I'm the only one in the world who feels things. It's when we understand the psychopathy that comes with our victimhood, it is so thick with shame and disgust, self-disgust. Talking about myself here, don't worry. That we run away from it. We literally run away as fast as we can and say, there's no way that I'm that. And we are. We are exactly that. We are exactly that. Oh, good jump. We lie to ourselves so bad. So bad. It's like really, really bad. The fact that you can see things like that story, tell you, and you're only seeing 10%. You're only seeing 10%. You're not looking deep enough at yourself. So you don't even know what else is there. And I'm telling you, this 6,450 nukes that aren't even fucking real is just the tip of the iceberg. It's a scraping off the obelisk on the Washington Monument. Just a tiny scrape. Just the tiniest scrape of granite into our hand. And blown away is the nukes. They're just the tiniest part. And it's all because of our victimhood. It's all because of it. And it shows you that Russia and the United States have never been enemies. They're both living the lie. They're showing you that. This is nuclear spending. Countries are not what we think they are. I've told you this. Countries are not what we think they are. I've told you this. Here's just NATO. Just the NATO fleet. These are countries that are supposed to be protecting themselves from each other, but they're a larger force. We're not even pretending this anymore. Why? We don't have to. We have enough victimhood where we don't have to pretend. We can elaborate more. NASA, Tesla Roadsters in space. Come on, guys. Come on. Nukes. Here's the U.S. Air Force fleet. Here's the U.S. Navy submarine fleet. Here's the U.S. Air Force fleet, and here's all the fires that were like, oh my God, we had no idea these were going to happen. Holy shit, we had no idea this is going to happen. Oh my God, what are we going to do? There's nothing we can do. We've done everything we can do. The problem clearly is that we voted for red instead of a blue guy. That's clearly what the problem here is. Do you want it? We have so much equipment. Look at this. These are just drones. Just drones. Just drones. Here's the Navy. Just the Navy. This is the JAASM. This guy right here. It's a semi-autonomous missile drone. We had 2,000 of these in stock the day before 9/11. The day after 9/11, I think we had 1,995 left. I think this is the perfect way to hit the side of the Pentagon and make sure you don't do any collateral damage. I think it's the perfect way to make a small, tiny crater in Shanktown, Pennsylvania. We had 2,000 of these. I don't know how many we have now. They're semi-autonomous, capable of delivering a big enough payload. And we've had all this stuff at our disposal the entire time. In fact, we even have the technology to do things. We're cloud seeding in UAE. We can make it rain. If we can make it rain, then why aren't we using that technology to fight the fires? Why haven't we been doing this decades ago? And it's the exact same excuse remember when Condoleezza Rice literally said on camera, we had no idea a plane. I think I could do her voice. Well, you have to understand, we had no idea that a plane could even hit a building. We didn't know that. We would never consider that as part of our assessments. Terrorism assessment. We never once considered someone could hijack a plane. All these movies about plane hijacking, none of us ever saw them. We're busy. We're busy here Pentagoning, and none of us knew about all the stories about hijack. We never considered it, even though there's documents showing that they literally spent billions and billions of dollars preparing for a terrorist attack via plane. It's our victimhood that makes us think, oh, it was a mistake. 19 box cutters, oh, it's in there now. Now we know what to do if there's 19 box cutters. Now we know. None of us saw that. None of us saw that. We had 19 bike locks. We had that solved. If someone showed up with 19 bike locks, we were going to take them, but not 19 box cutters. We had not anticipated the danger of that. I'm sorry, Louise, you're not going to be able to bring that toothpaste on the plane. You're going to have to squeeze it out in front of me. But if it's explosive and I'm squeezing it out in front of you, wouldn't that kill all these people? Yeah, you're going to have to put a mask on now, Louise. It's our victimhood wants this. It does. Our victimhood wants it. It's crucial. And we've had this tech. Silver oxide. It's actually heat, believe it or not. There's heat and salt comes from one, the silver oxide. And that heat hits the clouds and it makes the cloud rain. It makes it pee. Here's flares doing it. Magnesium, sodium chloride, potassium chloride. And it rains every day. Every day. It rains there now, UAE. Because of their programs. And I'm only bringing this up because I want you to understand that when they're telling you California's an accident, when they're telling you there's no way that we could ever have anticipated or afforded this or changed this, it's all because our victimhood is being... We think our prana, we think our worship, we think our belief is infinite. We think we have as much as we want. We think, oh, I can love this guy and totally love this other guy. We think, oh, I can love this job and totally love this other job. I can love this wife and totally love this wife. And you can't. You have X amount of blood cells. Those blood cells, 25 trillion of them, each of them can only love one thing. Each of them can only want to protect one thing. Each of them can only have the sovereignty over one thing. And by extending our worship, our belief, our prana, we're giving it to the government. We're saying, I trust you more than anyone else. I trust you. You're in charge of my forestry. You're in charge of my land. You're in charge of my connection to it. You're in charge of my laws. You're in charge of my water. I will not even fucking collect rainwater because I'm not responsible for that. You are. You are. And now you're burning the fucking place down. And because I gave you that responsibility, the best I can do right now, the best compassion I can fucking muster up is to say, bless my heart. Bless their heart. I bet you if this next election, if we just vote even harder, we'll solve this thing. And that's, I can't call it magical thinking because magic is fucking real. I'm calling that delusional victimhood thinking. And we have to wake the fuck up. Every 1.3 years we invade another country. And every time we say, oh, it's for Zionism, it's all great. Oh, we can't talk about Zionism, or we shouldn't talk about that, or hey, you got to be careful what you're saying. You boycott things, 27 states. Don't you dare complain about it, James. You'll lose your numbers. They'll censor you. They'll censor you. You got to be careful. Oh, for God's sake, don't talk about it. Let's just keep pouring ourselves into Babylon. Let's find new holes in our soul so it can take its dildo and shove it in us. Look at how much we're spending. Look at it. Every 1.3 years we invade another fucking country. Every 1.3 years. And that's just America. It's not even counting Russia. And each of us, the ones of us that are pretending to fight it, are the very ones that are sucking its teeth. They're like, yes, I love you too for Zionism. Let's keep doing this. Let's keep doing this. This is fantastic. I love what we're doing here. And we have the technology, we have the will, we have the prana, we have the manpower, we have the people. We can reclaim the soil. We can bring back the land. These are giants, man. These are giants. And we're not protecting them. They're gone. This is the great chestnut tree. It's right here in Katua. This picture is taken right here in Katua. And these trees, they were resonance of the land. The soil was resonating up through these trees. It was a fractal representation of who we were, of how much stewardship we placed in the land. But we abandon that. We don't want that responsibility. And guess what? Babylon's like, no problem. You don't want that, I'll take it. I'll give you whatever you want. I will give you whatever you want, says Babylon. It doesn't care what's right or wrong. It only wants to give you what you want. And that's not love. This is a giant root ball from a hemlock. Most of us have never even seen a true hemlock. They don't live that long. And we try and blame it on, well, we'll get to that. The sequoias, the only ones that happen to be making it right now, the larger ones. And even those. We keep blaming it on things like blight. We keep saying, oh, it's the Adelphid blight or whatever. Algids, aphids, Japanese maples. We have all these excuses as to what's stopping these trees. The great chestnut won't live past 100. The hemlock, it's completely naked and bare by the time it gets over 40, 50 feet. It believes in germ theory. It's fallen under the spell of germ theory. And I'm telling you, if you want to fix this, we don't genetically modify the trees. That's stupid. That is retarded. We do not fix it by genetically modifying the trees. We modify ourselves. We modify our behavior. We modify where we pour our prana, where we pour our worship. We go back to the land. We remember the soil. By remembering the soil, you remember who you are. Man is the living soil. This is why we're doing these campfires. We've got a campfire in 7 days. Brent Scheineman at gmail.com. Scheineman@gmail.com if you want to come. It's here in Beach Mountain. BRENTSCHENEMAN at gmail.com. We'd love to have you. Every new moon we're going to do this because we want to awaken this. We have to. We have to do this. And I don't think we can wait for the next generation. I don't think we can. This was taken this weekend. And it shows you just how bad it is. It shows you just how bad it is. Because this feels great. You fuck with the wrong generation. But everyone's wearing masks. Everyone is wearing masks. With Black Lives Matter. They're pushing the vaccine while they're telling you, hey man, you fucked with the wrong generation. You did. We're going to get you. Unlike the last generation, they didn't. We're going to get you because we're the wrong generation to fuck with. And that's what actually allows the victimhood to continue. Because you're pointing at an invisible foe and you're claiming that you're too tough for him while you're wearing a fucking mask. While you're standing next to a guy with a Black Lives Matter, a corporate printed Black Lives Matter poster. And that's the shame I was talking about when we first started talking. That's the shame of seeing, oh my God, I can't keep investing in this. I can't. But you do anyway because you spend so much. You're so ashamed of how much you put in, you can't pull out. And the people that love themselves, the people that truly have their own sense of self, the ones that you want to align yourself with, are the ones that will pull out even when it's impossible. The ones that will look and see just how hard it is and still know, yeah, I know, but I'm at least worth me pulling out. My self-worth is at least that thick. And that's your tribe. That's your tribe right there. You can trust that. But otherwise, you're going to end up playing the same ritual. Here's Mithras slaughtering the bull. The ritual in Rome. The triumphant, in many cases Julius Caesar, he was a triumphant, I think 7 times or something. The triumphant would have the honor of entering the stage of Rome. And he would paint his face red, and he would slaughter the bull. And it was like a reverence to Jupiter, right? The Jupiter reverence thing. And when you abandon all this stuff, you simply just repeat the pattern. Whatever the pattern's there, whatever the pattern is in the scaffolding of the air, the evacuated person will just follow. And I keep telling you over and over, he wears orange makeup. I keep telling you that. I keep saying it over and over again. And it doesn't sink in because the victims are like, yeah, but all politicians wear makeup. And I'm like, why? Why? Why is that? Why are we saying that's normal? Why is it not in the culture for him to be the guy that doesn't wear it? Why is that not the story? Why is that not something that we all push? Why are we just assuming, well, yeah, that's normal. That's what we do normally. And he's not just wearing orange makeup to be funny. He's not doing it he doesn't look good in that. Look at how white his eyes are. He's doing it because that's what the triumphant does in Rome. Believe it or not, the HBO series Rome has been heralded by historians as one of the most accurate depictions of what it was like back then. And this scene from that show is not just a scene from the show. It's showing you what was literally happening. That the triumphant, in this case Julius Caesar, triumphant, the triumph, the one who won the day, rides into the city of Rome with a red face, with makeup on his face, Because he's Jupiter. And because he's Jupiter, he's allowed to take the bull. And what I'm telling you is that Trump sacrificed the market, the economy. He sacrificed the market with a COVID virus, and he bled it out. And as he was bleeding it out, as the bull laid on the ground with blood spurting from its neck, he turned around and said, "Who wants to buy America?" And for $51 trillion, the IMF did. He said, "I'll take it." And all the times on YouTube, whenever you've seen Trump live stream, if you look down on it, it shows you which station they're using to pick from. It's always Phoenix, Fox Phoenix. It's always Phoenix. It's always the plumed serpent that's being reborn. Every time. And that theme, that symbolism is being hammered into you because the zeitgeist is singing it. The scaffolding of this place is singing that song, and we hear it. We only hear it when we're evacuated. Like to imagine you're walking through the mall. Here you go, buddy. I could imagine you're walking through the mall. And because you're not clear in your thoughts, you're open to suggestion. And because you're open to suggestion, the mall muzak is influencing you. It's telling you to go to Orange Julius. It's telling you to go to the food court and go to Orange Julius. And if you're not at your faculties, you will find yourself doing those things. And you will call yourself sentient. You will call yourself sovereign. You'll call yourself in charge of your faculties as you're going to do it. And as you do it, you don't even know. You don't even know you're doing it. People do that when they lie. People who lie will never tell you, "I'm going to lie to you." They will never. They will tell you exactly why they're not lying. They'll tell you why it's this or why it's that or why you misheard or why this or why... It's all neocortex bullshit. The evacuation happens because you're allowing the music to come in and just take over. It's just telling you, communism is great. Might as well give up the air and land quality and let someone else do it. Put them in charge of the FDA and the USDA. And you're like, yeah, that sounds good. How'd you like to invade a country? We gotta kill them terrorists. And you're like, yeah, that sounds good. And we run our whole life that way, insisting, I'm legit, man. I didn't lie. I never said that. There's no evil force. Why do you need an evil force? I just explained to you how evacuation literally explains everything. Explains it all. Evacuation and victimhood. It's all right there. And we're not getting it. We're not. We're reacting to it. That's all we do is react to it. We're not getting it. We react to it. We react to it. That's what we do. We react to it. Or we profit from it, even worse. They're not getting less obvious. They're getting more. And this is what we talk about on Dojo Earth. Some of you, though, want them all to be evil. Some of you want them all to be cleverly trying to destroy you, which is fine. But what I see is a jungle. I don't think the panther's evil. I don't think the jaguar is evil. I don't think the serpent in the tree is evil. I think my ignorance about what's in the jungle is evil. I think my denial about it is evil. I think my propensity to play a victim and put myself in a fucking bamboo cage to save myself from the jungle is fucking evil. But that would require you admitting what you've done. That would require you pulling yourself out of that cage. And you really, really wanted to make sure everyone knew you were trapped. So you really put yourself in there good. And you cut yourself, you bleed yourself, you bruise yourself, and you painted this whole story about how you were walking, minding your own business, and someone came and kidnapped you and put you in this other place, and now you're stuck there. And the reason why it's so hard to get out is because you have to swallow that shame right now. You have to swallow the shame of all the victimhood that you bought into. And all the times you just sat there nodding, or worse, voting. You gave it your consent. I did. It's awful. That was like the most shameful thing I ever had to admit to myself. Was I used to think that the way to fight evil is to have more evil. That's what I used to think. And this is what's waiting for us. This is why we're here, bitches. This is why we're here. Can you surpass the venom of globalism, the venom of victimhood? Can you do it? I don't know. A lot of us can't. We are still retarded, Joshua. I tell myself that every day because I'm trying to look and see where I've missed it. Trying to look and see where it is that I'm retarded today. Because me fixing my retard yesterday is not fixing my retard tomorrow. The markets are propped up and not allowed to fall. I hear you, Legion James, but actually, it's exactly what they did. It's exactly what they did. Trump and the media told you how the economy was the best it's ever been. It was no way anything was ever happening. That was a manipulation too. That's the gaslighting phase right before the discard. And the discard was only there long enough to sell the rest of it to the IMF. And if you want to look at what's happening next, you're looking at currency. And all the people like me or Ryan or whoever who used to try and tell people about how awesome decentralized blockchain is don't get a chance. Because now there's centralized blockchain. Why is there centralized blockchain? Because enough people were too afraid of blockchain, so they ran away and played victim to it. And now instead we're getting a centralized blockchain. It's going to fuck it all up. XRP, Ripple. That's the new Phoenix coin. And they told you that. They told you that on the Economist cover. I told you that too. But it was too much work. Do you know how hard it is to tell someone about blockchain? You know how hard it is to listen to someone who's all like, but Luciferian evil. Then you're like, yeah, but have you heard about blockchain? They're like, chain. You said chain. Oh my God, fuck you. And now we have the opportunity. We have the opportunity to completely revolutionize our copyright system, our content production system, our use system with Web 3.0. It's still there. But so many of us are terrified from it, so we run exactly into the wood chipper to escape the weed whacker that we think is there. This is the shittiest jingle. Yeah, you're right, Rachel. That was a pretty bad jingle. Love from Canada. Right on, man. Love from Amuraka. Love from Amuraka. This land was rewritten a long time ago. Here's that serpent. This land was rewritten a long time ago. Mu was the ancient Pacific, basically Atlantis, Mu. And Amuraka is the serpent of Mu. Amuraka, the plumed serpent of Mu. And you guys have heard about this plumed serpent stuff. We talked about this before. In fact, Astana's even got it. This is a plumed serpent. What do you mean, James? That's a bird. It's not a serpent. That's because you didn't look back here. See, if you're following me a few years ago, you'd see there's the serpent right there. It's right inside. But it's been covered in water. Amuraka has always been meant to burn. Amuraka has always been a fire sacrifice. Where's that one where it should? Yeah. It's always been a sacrifice. And what made it sacrifice is the evacuation of its citizens. You would think that if there was one state that had like more pride and more like oomph and chutzpah, it'd be California. And it's literally the opposite. Why? Because Babylon is strongest there. Wherever Babylon is strongest, man is weak. Scariest place to be in the country is probably South Dakota. I'm talking about like if you were Babylon. You're looking at a different kind of man from there. We're just not ready to admit what it is yet. We're not. Yeah, that's right. Quetzalcoatl, Robin. We say America was named after a map maker, and it wasn't. It was not. Amuraka. Amuraka. All right, it is. Whoops. Hang on a second. It is time for the airing of grievances. Yes, I am looking through the chat for grievances. Things that make you angry. Things that make you sad. Things that make you a victim. James Two Squirrels says, James, stop making me work so hard, says the squirrel. And Reason Ace says, more puppies, Chief, more puppies. My lawn's in Huntington Beach. Steve Crockett's gonna ask James, what is that music you're playing? And I will not interrupt the show to find it for you, Steve. I'm sorry, it is part of the loneliness you must feel in the dojo here that I am letting you down. And Althea True North tells me no beefs today. It's a good one, James, which is hard from Althea. She writes me some pretty angry mail sometimes. But she always has my witness. All of you, we are here to witness to each other. Yes. What about D-Live? My good friends at D-Live, do you have any grievances? Do you have any grievances? Keyboard batteries have died. Oh, I'm so sorry. More loss, more problems. I'm dumping all my extra funds into my work these days. That's great. You're not talking about Ra. Yes, Ra, the sun god. You are a boy. Every day I'm a brand new retard, says you are, boy, CL. I like that man. I like that man. Yes, grievances. They make us strong. They make us who we are. I need to work out some graphics there, right? I definitely need to work out some graphics. I like this new swagger JT's working. Thank you, Tribe. Thank you, Jam Z. Thank you much. Guys, we have a dojo today. Had some awesome dojos this week. I'm going to invite you all to the dojo. It's some really, really good talks. We're working on electricity, working on confidence. I have $20 in Super Chat. You guys are going to have to fucking raise that shit up. I need some money, man. This woman just left me saying, you don't have any money. Why would I stay with you? I need some Super Chats, go. We need to bring this up, all right? I'm just saying. You guys asking me to take my pants off and I'm getting $20 Super Chat. Come on. By the way, Lee Johnson keeps coming in the chat saying, hey, man, let me out of jail. Free Lee Johnson. And I had a discussion with our bouncer, and we decided that we will have... Thank you, Woodwoes. Damn, Ninja Genie, look at that. Thank you, guys. Thank you. In fact, I want to release the treasure chest on D-Live. Distribute rewards. You are distributing rewards. 29 seconds. 29 seconds. 29 seconds. Yeah. Man, I forgot what I was just saying. My beatnik speak is great. Thanks, Steve. Appreciate it. Yep, $33. That's the bail. That's right. That's the bail. That's the bail. Thank you, Nate. I sent you like $10. Thank you. Guys, I'm not trying to sound come on. This is sort of my way of like, hey man, here's the shaky pot. Feel free to put money in it. See, I'm a whore too. If Lee Johnson wants out, we will do it for $33 Super Chat. And it has to say in there, free Lee Johnson. And if he does that, we will do that. We will do that. Great Vance for me. Thank you, Mr. Moth. Marketing does not come easily to this man. Chad Clemens, you're right. Marketing does not come easily to this. Holy cow. James D. Program just came in with a super chat. Just fixed it all. All you guys, the pledge drive is over. You can all take a relax now because James G. just came through for you. He came through for you. He did. There's your tribe right there. Here's your try. That's right, Spacey Solrus. Holy shit, deprogram. Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. 111. Pew pew, says Josh Reisman. Guys, they're pushing. This is all on purpose. And it's all because of our evacuation. We can do better. We can. Now, I've been doing a lot of consults lately. And right now we got a dojo starting 12:30. We talked a lot about how to take over the grocery store yesterday. There's some good topics on that. 2 very different stories about how to do it. Really good stuff. I think you'll enjoy it. I left Babylon. We're money on the nightstand. I left Babylon. Whore money on the nightstand. Keep the change, says Rachel Farron. That is awesome. I love it. I love it. Man, I could go so much deeper there, Rachel. We'll let it go there. For your dealish nuts. Thank you, James True Squirrel. Where did that squirrel get money? How does that squirrel have money? What's going on with that? Anyway. Yeah, well, we recorded it for you, Steve. You can check today's dojo now and you can get there. All right, friends. I'm going to close off the program now. Hey, Woodwo's luckiest follower, Gaia Bear. Hey, Gaia. Analog Bear. Please not Bear. All right, guys. Thank you much. Enjoy your day. And, yeah. Take care of yourself.
Waking up